Last night, you were somewhere you have never been. You spoke to someone who does not exist. You ran from a threat that had no shape, no name, no logic. And when you woke up, none of it seemed strange. That is the part nobody talks about. Your brain built an entire world while you were unconscious, and you accepted it completely. But the real answer for why this happens is far stranger than your brain is just resting. Every single night your body goes still. Your muscles switch off, one by one, as if someone is pulling a plug. But your mind does the opposite. It lights up. In fact, during a stage called REM sleep, your brain can be almost as active as it is right now, reading these words. Scientists Eugene Azarinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman discovered this in the 1950s, when they noticed something odd in sleeping test subjects. Their eyes were darting back and forth, rapidly, behind closed lids. Something was happening in there. Something was being watched. That something turned out to be your dreams. Here is the strange part. Your body has never lived through most of what you dream. You have never actually fallen from a cliff. You have never actually spoken fluent French or flown or been chased through your childhood home by something with no face. And yet your brain constructs these scenes with total conviction, full color, full sound, full fear. Why would evolution spend energy building a nightly movie theater inside your skull, using scenes that never happened? For decades, scientists could not agree. Sigmund Freud believed dreams were disguised wishes, desires your waking mind was too polite to admit. That theory dominated psychology for half a century. But it did not hold up well under modern testing. Most dreams are not wish fulfillment. Many of them are mundane. Some are simply bizarre. So researchers went looking for a better answer. One of them was a neuroscientist named J. Allan Hobson. In the 1970s, Hobson proposed something radical. He suggested dreams were not deep hidden messages at all. Instead, he argued they were your brain's attempt to make sense of random electrical noise. During REM sleep, the brainstem fires off chaotic signals. Your cortex, the part of you responsible for meaning and story, tries to interpret that noise the same way it interprets everything else. It builds a narrative. It fills in gaps. It creates a plot out of static. Think about that for a moment. Your brain cannot tolerate meaninglessness even while you sleep. But if dreams were only random, no ice-stitched into nonsense, they would not follow the patterns they do. Most dream researchers today believe something more specific is going on. A Finnish scientist named Antti Revonsuo studied thousands of dream reports and noticed a pattern that repeats across almost every culture on Earth. Threat, chase, danger, falling, being hunted, losing something important. Over and over, your dreaming brain rehearses crisis. Revonsuo's theory is called threat simulation. The idea is simple and a little unsettling. Your ancestors who dreamed about predators, about danger, about losing a fight, were practicing survival while they slept. A dream about being chased by something in the dark is not random. It is a rehearsal, your brain running a drill for a threat it has never physically faced, so that if the real version ever arrives, some part of you has already lived through a version of it. You are not just sleeping. You are training. Ash is where your body becomes relevant. Again, even though you never physically ran from that dream predator, your heart rate can spike. Your breathing can change. Your muscles, if they were not paralyzed by REM atonia, would try to move exactly as they would in real danger. Neuroscientists have recorded this. The body responds to the dreamed threat almost the same way it would respond to a real one. Your mind writes fiction, your body reacts to it as fact. There is a second layer to this, and it involves memory. A researcher named Matthew Walker, who studies sleep at the University of California, Berkeley, has spent years showing that REM sleep is deeply tied to emotional processing. In his research, subjects who slept normally after a distressing experience reported feeling calmer about it the next day than subjects who were kept awake. Something about dreaming appears to strip the emotional intensity off a memory while keeping the memory itself intact. You remember what happened. You just do not feel it as sharply. Walker has described this as a kind of overnight therapy. Your brain revisits the day's emotional wreckage, but with the stress chemical, noradrenaline, mostly switched off. It is safe to relive the memory now. There is no threat in the room. so your mind processes what hurt without the hurt hijacking the process. Have you ever noticed that a problem which felt unbearable at midnight often feels smaller by morning? This may be why. So dreams may be doing two jobs at once: rehearsing danger you have not yet faced, and diffusing pain you already have. But none of this explains why the stories themselves are so strange. Why your childhood teacher shows up in a spaceship. Why your dead grandmother is somehow also your coworker. Why the geography of the dream keeps shifting the moment you try to focus on it. Psychologist Rosalind Cartwright, who studied dreaming for over 50 years, found that dreams often borrow fragments from recent experience and stitch them onto older emotional material. A stressful email from yesterday gets fused with an anxiety from 15 years ago. Your brain is not filming a documentary. It is collaging. This is why dream logic feels so disconnected from waking logic, and yet somehow still emotionally coherent. The scene may not make sense. The feeling underneath it usually does. Now think about what this means for a body that has never lived any of it. You wake up shaken from a dream about losing someone you love, even though nothing happened. You wake up oddly proud after a dream where you finally said the thing you never said out loud. Your body does not seem to fully understand the difference between a rehearsal and reality. Some researchers believe this blur is not a flaw. It might be the entire point. A body that can practice grief, practice fear, practice courage without ever paying the real cost of the event has an enormous advantage. It gets top repair in advance. There is one more detail worth sitting with. You forget most of your dreams within minutes of waking. Not because they were unimportant, but likely because the brain regions responsible for laying down long-term memory are partially offline during REM sleep. The dream did its work while you were under. It does not need to be remembered to have mattered. Your body already got the rehearsal it needed. The story was never really meant for your waking mind at all. So every night, without your permission, your brain builds a world for you to survive. It borrows faces from your past. It invents dangers your body has never met. It lets you fall and run and grieve and love inside a theater with no consequences, so that some quieter part of you walks away a little more prepared for whatever is actually coming. Tonight, when you close your eyes, you will go somewhere you have never been again. And some way inside you, without your permission, you will call it real.